What is the most obvious lie you have ever been told? My first watch was an Omega and I saved up on high school to get it. One of my good friends back then asked to wear it for one period and would give it back at lunch. He begged and begged, so as a HS kid I gave in. Or KlingyYT keeps saying no, I guess. Weak on me, obviously. Well, he smashed it, apparently smashed the glass to test it, gave it back, and said it was a fake and that years why the glass cracked, and said he didn't do it and it just fell apart. Asshole became a medical doctor and is now involved in politics and holds state office. Still pissed about the watch he never admitted he broke cause he was salty and jealous. Dickhead then, dickhead now. Yuri did not feed your dog any human food, my mom, while my dog pukes and shits all over my house. I dated a girl who was a pathological liar. I didn't know it was actually a thing. When my dad originally told me about it, I thought he was exaggerating. After leaving the relationship I realized how ridiculous the lies were and how stupid I was for believing them, but I guess that saying blinded by love is also true. Among the lies. One time she called out of work because according to her, she was on her parents' boat out in the ocean and the boat ran out of gas, so they had to call a friend to come rescue her and her family and tow them to shore. I found out later it was actually because she had a party and was wasted. She met Donald Trump, this was back in like 2013, and his associates in Atlantic City. They invited her and her friend to join them as they drove around Atlantic City visiting his casino and eating the best food and drinking top shelf drinks. She didn't have to pay for anything. She got mono when we were dating, but I was fine. She said it was anxiety-induced mono according to the doctor, which is why I didn't have it. This was around the same time she told me that she met some guy at a party that was hitting on her, but she didn't hook up with him, and then I found out a week later she did. She was previously engaged, but she called off the engagement, this is actually true, and went to the pawn shop to pawn off her engagement ring and use the money to buy alcohol. She totaled 3 cars in her lifetime, but she was able to convince the insurance company it wasn't her fault and basically got a free car replacement each time. When a coworker told my own story back to me as his own, twice. I speak French, though I'm losing it from lack of use. But one of my college guy friends started dating a girl from France. He was all excited because she could talk to me in her native language and I could help translate. So he brought her to a party at my sorority house and introduced us. I greeted her in French with a very simple bonjour, bienvenue, comment va, which is just hi, welcome, how are you? Blank stare and red face in response. She then said, in what I thought was a kind of strange accent, that sorry, she didn't understand me. I looked at the guy and said, Yuri thought you told me she was French, because maybe she was a different nationality, and he was confused. He looked at her and she just turned and left. He followed, then returned a bit later and said he had caught up to her and she started screaming at him in perfect Midwestern accented English that he was a jerk for setting her up to look like a fool. He had genuinely been excited that he could introduce her to someone she could talk to, so he was blown away by her accusations and then angry that she lied. She apparently felt faking an accent would make her more appealing or something. I would see her around on campus after that, but she avoided me like the plague. TBH, I felt bad for her, but if you're going to fake it, at least pick a country with a language you can speak. When I was a kid, the internet wasn't a thing, so my friends were whoever happened to live in the neighborhood. One kid was a well-known liar and exaggerator. We were maybe 14 years old at this time. This kid could play guitar and was always talking himself up about it and talking about his band. He actually could play, but his band did not exist. One day, I called him at his house from my house. I don't remember what it was about, but a few minutes into the conversation, told me, by the way, I'm in Florida with my band, just out of the blue. This was before even pages were a common thing. I called him at his house. I just said something like, okay, and ended the conversation. I then proceeded to tell all the other kids in the neighborhood. In the early 90s I was at work making $5 an hour, and a coworker looked me straight in the eye and said he had bought a surface to air missile from China and kept it stored at his mom's house in a different city. WTF dude, that year's not even close to believable. When I was a public defender, my dipshit client called up his victim from the jail phone the night before his trial. He said kill repeatedly in an attempt to intimidate her. When I was telling him how stupid this was, his excuse was that he was watching Kill Bill and someone changed the channel on the cell block communal TV. That dumbass is now doing 28 years in prison. My friend told me that getting a Peloton changed her life. I looked up her workout stats, and she had used it 4 times in 5 months of owning it. Her husband fared a little better with using it 9 times. Don't know why this annoyed me so much. I used to work with a guy that was a serial liar. Cold near tell the truth if his life depended on it. So many lies, but this is my personal fave. Background. Keep in mind that at the NFL Combine the 40-yard dash is the standard for speed. 4.5 seconds is great. 4.4 is elite. And the fastest time ever recorded by a prospect is, I believe, 4.24 seconds. This yutz I worked with claimed that back in his army days, he ran a 4.2 flat in combat boots. Let yours just say I'm skeptical. My little girl told everyone in the supermarket that our cat died, and she was sad. We don't own a cat. In 5th grade, a friend of ours used to try to convince us he used to hang out with a band Sublime. Among other stuff, he said that he was the person featured on the cover of their self-titled album, and he used to do drugs with them, and even tried heroin once. We were fucking 11 years old, and he claimed this all happened 2 years before he even moved to our school. So yeah, a fucking 9-year-old did all this wild shit. We constantly called bullshit, but he would just continue to lie and make up more stuff. We stopped hanging out with him because he was so full of shit. My mom, after 11-year-old me accidentally destroyed her favorite vase by throwing my brother's stuffed animals around the living room. I'm not mad. When my friend was an infant, her mother put a 2-year-old sibling in her crib while the mom left the room briefly. When mom came back, my friend was crying and had teeth marks on her forehead. When mom asked the older sibling what happened, she calmly said she bit herself. Used to have a friend that spewed bullshit all the time. Told me her bio parents, who lived together, were divorced and seeing other people, and also that she had 25 siblings. Brought it up to her mom one time, which was an interesting conversation. She also told us she had cancer, and then a week later it was miraculously cured. Edit, spelling. We are not playing favorites. In high school a buddy told me that he didn't steal our other buddy's watch. He was wearing the watch when I asked him about it. A childhood friend and I met up for coffee one day after not meeting for a few years. He casually let it slip that ever since he earned a black belt he has had to register with the state as a human weapon. We cannot give you a raise right now, but we will compensate you as soon as the budget allows. Turns out when the budget allows is when you already have another job offer and put in your 2 weeks notice. My brother told me I was a dragon and I totally believed him. Man, I was a dumb kid, but now I'm a dumb adult. I never said you had to sign the document if it wasn't true. Says the person with 3 emails telling me to sign a document, even after I said it wasn't true, sitting on her outbox. Any lieutenant saying that the platoon can go home early on a Friday if you work hard right now. I can finish this 104 game tonight. As a tax accountant, I'm told lies about how much money people actually made all the time during tax season. My favorite was a guy telling me he's broke because he only makes $35,000 a year in New York City, so my very reasonable fee is too much for him. He says this after he asks me if he can deduct the new BMW 5 Series he just bought his son all cash. The company is in a great shape, so don't pay any attention to rumors about financial trouble. When my little brother mixed like 50 condiments, including sprinkles, ketchup, cereal and stuff, into a bag of popcorn and ate it telling us it was delicious when his face looked like he'd just ate 10 extremely sour warheads at once. He later admitted he just wanted us to eat it, but we never did. I did brush my teeth, I swear. My son takes every opportunity to get naked. It was a struggle to get him to even wear underpants half the time. We found him sat around naked one time and asked him where his pants had gone. Bees came in through the window and stole his pants. Lying little shit. Everyone knows that it's gnomes who steal underwear.